Een stoeltje. Ik heb er zin in. Oh, ik moet mijn hoedje op.
Ik denk dat het wel verstandig is, maar je hebt al een pet. Is dat niet voldoende?
Nee, voor mijn gardening. Voor de segment. I have to have my gardening.
I think that if you will try this combination, so these dianthus with these tulips and then these cornflowers, you can have a very nice display to help you through May, which is always a bit of a tricky month to get a nice display out of your home sown plants, simply because the annuals are not strong enough or mature enough to bloom yet. But with this little trick, so autumn sown cornflowers in combination with some perennials. Favorite for the cottage garden is of course this plant.
Nu ben ik helemaal veiligheidskleren.
Ja,
Met mijn veiligheidshoedje.
cool.
Clear the ground.
Flowers that we have a lot of in our garden is this one, columbine, and they self-seed, but most of the time I don't leave it like that to nature. I usually collect the seeds and then sow it myself. They're very good to sow in early autumn and then let them overwinter, and by the time this year you can actually start to plant them out in new borders. They won't flower for you this year then, but you will have a very nice display the year after. So these are sown in the autumn and then planted out. Wait for the comical bit. Hi everyone, I'm out in the garden today and I have been working quite a lot lately, so I haven't been tending the garden for a week now. So it's weekend finally and I wanted to take up stock to see how much has grown in the week while I was busy. And we planted them in autumn and they flowered for us again. So if your tulips look like this after flowering, don't panic. Just let them take back all the goodness in the leaves into the bulbs, and then when everything is dry and brown, you can dig them up and store them for next year. And not up yet with some salad crops. So this is Turkish spinach. Yeah, once again they seem to struggle when I planted them in late winter, but yeah, the plant survived, and I think I need to harvest them soon because they're starting to make flower buds. So eventually when they flower you cannot really eat them because the stalks would get really woody. So it's now a good time to get a nice spinach harvest. When they're dying back, you could make it a semi nice looking but at least useful container by interplanting these with these vegetables or with cornflowers. I actually think I spotted one that has a flower bud on it, a little bit in the back. I will show you. They seem to really struggle with the cold, wet weather, and yeah, lots of leaves were lost, but they seem to have recovered and are now actually forming multiple heads from one stem. So basically the lead plant died off, and then from the sides a new shoot formed, and that new shoot became a crop of salad. So yeah, I think this is also possible. These are cornflowers, and when I planted them back in November I thought, let's give it a try. If the winter is not too harsh, they might survive and give me an early display next year. And yeah, they looked very horrible during the winter, but eventually this is actually the result. I mean, here I'm standing the first week of May and they are reaching up to my waist. Won't be long now before they flower. Winter, when the new leaves appear, that you protect these plants well enough so that they can get into this mature stage, and then if the snails get a little nibble, that's fine. These were home sown, so I sowed these back in also 2 years ago, and they took 2 years to reach this stage that they can finally produce their first flower spike in the summer. But we cleared them and we put these in, and as you can see, if you have grown dianthus before, you know that this fluff at the very top is a sign that the flower buds are soon to come. And once again, let me remind you, I'm standing here in the first week of May, and I can expect to see a nice display in May. And we also used it last year, and that didn't hinder any growth of our plants. But now we're getting pretty close to the bottom of that pile, and that part has not been decomposed well, at least not the aminopyrrolite. So some of the containers contain some extra compost for this year, and that was filled up with the bottom half of the compost that could possibly contain remnant of active aminopyrrolite. So if you compare some of these plants here, they're almost comical. I mean, this one is a calendula, and I've planted these out the first. So this is basically planted, I think, back in early March, maybe even February. Look at the size of it. I mean, I can place my hands next to it.